Hi everyone, it's Jessica Dipzinski. Today I'm excited to be participating in the Bloom Like a Flower YouTube hop. I've decided to scrapbook just this one photo, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later as to why I'm using this one and just the one photo. I've decided to use the new Hope and Kindness collection from Close to My Heart because, as you can see, it has all of these really gorgeous florals on it, and I'll show you all the papers in here. They all have something to do with flowers or, coordinate with those big floral sheets. And there is quite a lot to choose from in this particular pack. They are double-sided and you get 2 of each, so I've gone ahead and flipped them around so that you can just see all of them here in one go. But I definitely have a lot of options as far as, papers to choose from to create. And really the only instructions for this YouTube hop are to do something with florals, and I thought immediately of this. Now I am inspired by this post on Pinterest from Erin Jacobson. I absolutely love her work, and so I think I am going to try to scrap lift that particular layout. All right, I've gone ahead and prepared some of my pieces. Now I am using, this is the coordinating cardstock that comes with that collection, and it just is this craft color. And I've gutted a little piece out of it so that I can use it as a mat for my 4x5 photo. And then I've cut this polka dot piece down to 11.5 by 11.5. And then in the pin that I am using as my inspiration, there is a piece of this paper that is folded over. And I messed around for a little while trying to figure out, because there are like cut apart cards on the back side, how to do that. And then I realized that one of those cards actually had a pattern on it that I like. So I'll show you in a second how that's going to work. So these 2 pieces I'm going to cut some dovetails into. This one is 2.5 by 10.5, and this one is 3.5 by 9. And I just sort of made my own guess as to, what those dimensions were from looking at that pin on Pinterest. Like I said, I will cut some dovetails into each of those. I like to do that by cutting up in the center and then from each corner up to that slit that I had made. And I find that that's a really easy and fast way to add some dovetails to papers. So I'll do the other one off camera. And then what I'm also going to do before I begin adhering anything down is using my inks to edge distress them. So this is the Desert Rose color that coordinates with this particular paper. And then on the other papers, I will use both the brown color on that craft paper and then Harbor, which is the color of the other floral piece and the polka dots. Okay, I'm ready to begin assembling, and so I thought I would show you how I did this since it's going to fold over in that corner. So like I said, I realized that that cut apart, 4x6 cut apart on the other side had a really lovely pattern that I just wanted to fold over. So I just made sure that when I put it down, that it was in that bottom right corner. And then because I have that polka dot piece as 11.5 by 11.5, I just need to take this floral piece here and put it 1/4 inch from each side on the bottom. And then I will align that polka dot piece over the top like so. So that way when I flip that paper to fold the corner, that it'll look like there's a full sheet of this floral piece underneath. But really, that paper is too pretty to do something like that. So that's why I cut just a little piece, and I just kind of made a guess, before I started cutting anything about how far over I would need it to be, and then I just kind of made my own little measurements and figured it out that way. So just enough that when I fold that corner over, you can't see any of the craft paper except for what is going to be the border. So I'll get this situated here, like I said, 1/4 inch from each side. Okay, and now that I have that piece adhered down, I can go ahead and take that 11.5 inch square in the polka dot, and I can put it down to the page. Now, I was being careful not to get any adhesive in the part that I'm going to fold over in the corner, and I was really proud of myself for remembering not to put adhesive in that spot, but maybe you'll realize what I am doing here. I totally took that into account, but I completely forgot that I had gutted my bottom page, and so I ended up putting adhesive where it didn't actually need to go over to the left-hand side of my paper, which is fine. fine, but I did end up with a bit of an adhesive mess that I had to clean up later. Now here I am just making sure that when I fold that I'm not seeing anything other than that one pattern that I want to show. And when I have it in a good spot, I go ahead and I give a good press onto this and crease that corner over. Then I take my adhesive and I add just a little bit more to help tack it down into place so that it looks like, again, that there's just that full floral sheet underneath, but really it's just hiding. There's a little piece under there. And then I'll add a little bit of adhesive to the back side of that fold so that when I push it down onto the page, it stays put. There, and that worked out perfectly. I'm so glad. Like I said, there are a bunch of 4x6 cut apart pieces on the other side of this polka dot paper. And at first I thought, oh, I'm going to have to adhere a different kind of pattern piece to the back side, but it worked out perfectly that one 4x6 was right where I liked it, and I was able to fold that particular corner. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put these other pieces down, and I'm just making a guess based on looking at that post on Pinterest. And once I get this final piece of paper adhered down, I really am ready to start thinking about my embellishments. I did put some foam tape on the back of my photo, and I'm not going to put that down just yet because I want to put some of my stickers and other embellishments down first in case there's something that I need to tuck behind it. So I'm going to leave that just popped up on foam tape for the time being. Now there is a coordinating stamp and die cut set that goes along with this paper collection, and it's so pretty. It has all these big floral clusters on it, as well as you can cut out the word beautiful and heart. And so I've done that and colored them off camera. I cut a lot of this out because I didn't actually end up using any of those floral clusters. I thought that I would, but then the colors that I used to color them in just didn't quite match what I had going on in my paper pack. So instead I decided to turn to the sticker sheet. But I am going to use this word here that it says heart, and then there's another stamp on there that you can stamp. It says with all my, and I love that it is in a solid color and it leaves the words in white. So I'm going to use that as my title, and I'm just going to kind of fuss around for a little bit as to exactly where I want it to go. Originally I thought I wanted it to overlap my photo a little bit, but then I end up moving it. So like I said, I didn't love my coloring, and well, it was fine. I just didn't think it matched. So I decided to go to the sticker sheet, and I love this big floral cluster that we got going here. And you know, this YouTube hop is about blooming like a flower, so I thought, okay, anything I can do to bring some more flowers in, then that's going to be fantastic. So before I commit to it, I do grab my anti-static pouch and just rub it across the back, and the powder in that pouch takes the stickiness off of the adhesive, and that way I can move it around a little bit before I know exactly where I'm going to stick it down. And so I kind of play around with that a little bit, but I do decide to put it here up in this top corner of my photo, about like that. And then, well, I got that part figured out. Now I got to figure something else out. It takes me a little while. Like I said, I have quite a bit of fussing about what to do and where to put things. So I went back to my paper and I saw these two flowers here on the back side of this one page and these cut apart pieces. And what I'm going to do is fussy cut them out and then try to use them as additional clusters for embellishments. So I do end up using the little one, but the big one I don't use. It is gorgeous and it looks a lot like that other sticker that I have up there behind my photo. The only difference is that, you know, when I fussy cut it, it is being cut out of that craft color paper that it's on. And so whereas my sticker has a white border around it, you know, and this one ends up having a craft border around it, they were different. And so that was why I didn't want to use the two of them together. And even though it's really pretty with that craft border there, I'll just save it and use it on another project. However, when I do fussy cut out that smaller flower from that paper, I will end up using that up by where my fold is. So I guess it wasn't entirely wasted, but like I said, I'll just have to save this particular cluster for something else. And it didn't take that long to fussy cut. It is really easy just to move your paper rather than your scissors. And that makes it go quickly. All right, now off camera, I have also cut out a tag and written my journaling on it. And then I am using a little bit of baker's twine to add a little something through the hole of that tag. And I thought, you know what, I had better go ahead and get that journaling written so that I can put this tag down. Otherwise, it might be a little hard to write on later. And I did put some foam tape behind it because when I folded that corner over, it just had a tiny little bit of lift to the page and it didn't lay quite flat. So I just went ahead and gave it all some dimension by putting foam tape on the back of it. So I will put that right here. And again, that's exactly what is showing in the pin on Pinterest, that there is a tag there with the journaling. And then you can see here where I'm just going to put some foam tape on it. Now, just very quickly while I am doing this part, I will share with you a little bit about my photo. This is a picture of me and my niece, and it was taken in the fall of 2020. So she was a pandemic baby, and actually I wasn't even able to meet her for the first few months of her life, which was really sad. And, I just was so upset that I kind of missed out on that special time with her. And so at the time that this particular photo was taken, I really had still only seen her a handful of times. And on this particular day, we were moving my parents. They had bought a new house and they were moving out of our childhood home where my sister and I grew up, they were excited about it, but we were kind of upset and it was kind of a sad day. And so it was nice to be able to spend some time with her. She was definitely a source of smile and happiness on a day that was otherwise kind of emotionally hard. And so I thought that it was worth putting just her on a particular page so that I could talk about, my relationship with her and what was going on that day. The other photo that I have from that day, because I have only 2 photos from this day, is a picture of my parents, my sister and I standing in front of the house. So again, something that I think deserves its own layout. So hence the reason just this is a 1 photo page here. All right, now in addition to the sticker sheet, there is also a die cut thing that you can get as part of this Hope and Kindness collection. And it's this really nice craft chipboard. So I've just gone to this and kind of looked over it and, I'm trying to see what can I use. I don't use this. But I did find there is a little heart on there and then this cute little scalloped circle. So what I think I'm going to do is actually take this circle and I'm going to tuck it right here underneath the fold. But since not all of it's going to be showing, I am going to cut that in half so that I can save some of it. And then I don't want to be wasteful, so I'm going to take the other part of that circle that I have just cut and I'm going to put it up at the top of my photo. And once I go into my my memories and figure out what the actual date was, I will later go ahead and add the date to that spot. So now that I have that craft chipboard up at the top there and then down to the side, I go in and find one more thing so that I can create a third point of a visual triangle. And I decide to include this heart here. It has some cute white polka dots on it, which I think goes along with the whole polka dot on the paper. And I'm going to put that over here to the side of my title, which just works because it says, with all my heart, and it is a heart. And then later I will find another tiny little heart off that chipboard piece and put a tiny little heart next to this bigger one. So since I have some things up on foam tape, I decide to use a little bit of thin 3D foam tape for the back of this chipboard heart. And I'm going to put that down with a little bit of dimension. It's not as thick as my photo or my tag though, but it's the thin 3D foam tape. Okay, and I'll get that down here. And now I have just one last thing to add to this. I decided it needed a little bit of sparkle. So I found my gold glitter gems, also from Close to My Heart. And I will put those again around in a visual triangle. So I'm going to put one over here next to this little cluster I've got going by the fold. And then I'm going to put one over to this side next to my heart and title. And then, so that's 2. And then I'm trying to think about adding them in odd numbers. So then I'm going to go up to the top point of my visual triangle and add 3 more so that I have a total of 5. So that's just a little something that I have learned along the way as I've watched other people on YouTube, is visual triangles and things in odd numbers. And sure enough, it works. It is definitely pleasing to the eye to add your embellishments in that way. So that is it. I kind of look around, but I decide, nope, I think I'm done. It's time to clean up this mess that I have going on my desk. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch today as I create this page about me and my niece, my sweet, cute little niece. I'll leave you with a couple of close-ups here. Now, there are a lot of other scrapbookers and crafters who are participating in this YouTube hop. So I will leave links to their videos in the description down below. So be sure to check them out as well. Everybody is doing something that goes along with blooming like a flower. All right, guys, I am a close to my heart maker, and I used all close to my heart products. So if you saw anything that you loved, I'd appreciate if you visit my website. Thank you so much for stopping by, and happy crafting.